our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. But do you want to come on? Scooch on over closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear.
Woo! It is the middle of the week. Another middle of the week. Happy Wednesday, beautiful people. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Welcome to LoveBabz, LoveTalk. It's Wednesday, and I don't think the weather is very cooperative, but it's spring. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So let me wish my Jewish brothers and sisters a very happy and peaceful Passover. Happy Passover, y'all. I sent my little messages out this morning to my Jewish friends, just wishing them a happy and easy Passover. My ex-husband is actually 28% Jewish. Cracks me up. I should send him one. And Harry's Jewish too. So I think he's got double-digit percentage. Happy Passover, Harry. I'll send you a note too. So to all my sisters and brothers, happy Passover as we march into well, 3% counts, Harry. If they can measure it, it counts. If they measuring it, listen, it counts. So happy Passover as we march toward Easter. And I do believe I'll be in church on Sunday. Because I like to go to church Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday. And then I'm back to being a heathen. Sorry. That's just the way it is. But I don't have a church home to speak of, so I spend a lot of time at I go to a Dixwell Congregational because I just like the history and the folks over there. But I've not joined, and they are a UCC church, and I'm a UCC member, so I could readily just shift my membership that space, and I might in the end, because as you get older, you're like, well, I'm gonna die soon. I need to have some place where my service can be held without a whole lot of problems. I'm here to tell you. I'm just trying to do it without a whole lot of problems. So anyway, yes, I'm putting a little lotion on my face because I just be looking a little dry. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's because the lights are so bright or I just need a little bit more moisture. And no. I did a good thing last night. I went to bed rather early, I think. It feels like I went to bed early. No, I mean, I got into bed and messed around on social media for a little bit. And my intentions were to read, but no reading got done. Tonight reading will get done. And I think it's time for a new television. My my picture in my TV is like taking a long time to come in, like it's warming up. And I was like, that's not a good sign. But then I realized I've had this TV for a very long time. Very long. And it's not worth taking it somewhere to get fixed. It's probably just time to like Uh, uh, I'm just, I'm just, it's time for new TV. I know it. You know, and you know what I mean? Like, uh, yeah. So I'm sorry, people were texting me and I'm reading text as I'm uh doing the day. I'm just I'm in multimedia spaces. I'm in multimedia spaces. So a lot's going on today. Um, a lot's going on today. Let's see. Emily Bernard is gonna be somewhere on York Street having a conversation with somebody. You know, she's a writer, poet, professor, and I dig her. And then I'm gonna be at the Divinity School uh at 6 for Reverend Barber. I'm going to that with my good friend Patty Russo. So we'll be at that. Because you know they're launching the center, you know, the Racial Justice Theology Center, and train up some folks. So yeah, so I'll be there for that tonight, and then I'm going to a tea with Reverend Barber next day. So I'm trying to juggle my schedule to suit all the things because can't get enough. Can't get enough of your love, baby. Yes. So happy Wednesday. Got my glass of water. I was up studying this morning. I put in our group meet chat for my Yale Access to Law School family and say, hey, let's do some studying every night for the next week or so. So I was trying to get some time in studying and with my cohort. And I think we take another practice test soon. And I got all my accommodations. I'm so delighted. I need to go and read, but I read some of it. So, I mean, I got accommodations so I could stand up and I mean, I could do all the things. And I had my accommodations in February 22nd. So I waited a whole month to check to see the site is not user friendly. Like they didn't send me an email saying you have mail. So I don't check that part when I'm on the site. So so I got a so I called them up because I hadn't heard anything. And I was like, you know, from what I understand, if you don't get your accommodations accepted, you have like 48 hours to like rebut and fight for them. I didn't even have to do that. They were sitting in my damn on my page. The letter been sitting there since February 22nd. So I I so there's a little thing that kept asking me, is anything changed? And I was like, no. So they sent me another one dated for yesterday, February 3rd or something. I was like, I know they must have been like, so when I called, she was like, oh yeah, it's sitting in your thing. Let me walk you to how to get there. Because I would have never figured that out. I didn't know where to look. Like it's just it's not user friendly. I was like, okay. But anyway, it's there. I printed it out because I needed to have it. And that was that. So yeah, so I got my accommodations, which makes a huge difference in terms of test taking. And I was nervous about it. But now I can start moving forward taking practice tests with the accommodations in place, you know. So so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And uh yeah. So that's the way of the world. I'm on pink today, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep pink on all day. Um I watched Trump go get indicted. All right. You know, they didn't allow any cameras into the space. Um I vaguely remember that process, you know, when you go and whatever. Um I never have to say I was guilty or not guilty. We just arranged it and it was just fine. I didn't have handcuffs. They didn't perp walk me. It was none of that stuff. I got fingerprinted. I got my picture taken, and they were like, "We never release your picture." So he's like, "You don't have to worry about that. The feds don't release your picture." I was like, "Okay." I didn't ask. They just said, you know, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." So that was that. So I vaguely remember my day in court, you know. And that day that you go to court counts as the day as part of your sentence. That's why I had a 31-day sentence. I ended up serving 30 because that day in court was part of it. I had no idea. There's so many things that you don't know about the judicial system and the processes of being indicted and all that. I mean, it really is. God help people who want to defend themselves, unless you've got some skill set like the Visioning Project folks. When I met them, the man that I met who was lovely, lovely man who was graduating in 2 weeks from William and Roger and Clark Law School. I think that's the name. He served 28 years in prison for a crime he did not commit and taught himself how to become a lawyer, in a jailhouse lawyer, and got his sentence overturned and got exonerated, and then got out and went to law school, the whole thing. And it's impressive. It's just impressive. It's just impressive, you know. And it just gave me some good tips about um, law school and the LSAT, and I just have a new resolve about it. I have a new resolve, and it's probably the same resolve, just hyped up. I really want to do this. I mean, I want to go to divinity school. I want to go to law school. I just see a clear marriage of the two. I see it. I'm not the only one because there's other people who have that same, who have done it or doing it. I have that same regard, you know. So I'm gonna try the divinity school one more time, but right now my focus is squarely the law school. The LSAT, getting through the LSAT. And I'm gonna apply to the schools in this area because I'm not uprooting my life to go nowhere. And I've been being pitched by other law schools, and I appreciate that. I'm grateful. I feel honored and think, there's some interest in me, but I need to stay local because that's where the fight is for me. And this is my home. And I like being in New Haven. So I want to be a neighborhood lawyer. I want to take up stuff that, you know, and I know it's gonna be grueling because I'm a represent people who don't got no money. I know it. I know it. And I have to sustain myself. So, but God will provide a way. I've come this far on faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet. That's my Pentecostal roots right there. I'm never gonna give up my Pentecostal roots in terms of that. You just break out in a song. And I'm no singer. I mean, I can sing a little bit, but couldn't sing a whole damn song. I just give you a verse. So that's where I'm at. That's where I am at. So I just feel like I just at this point in my life, I just believe things will work to their greater good on my behalf. I believe that the universe is conspiring to bring me the hearts of my desire or the desires of my heart fully and beautifully. I wake up believing that the universe is conspiring in my favor and that the universe requires me to show up so that it can conspire in my favor. That's how I see it. This is way more than the glass is full or empty. This is a pitcher. I'm a I want the pitcher kind of girl. Mix up the lemonades or the mojitos or whatever it is, baby. Mix it up. So there'll be no word on the street today because Paul Bass is traveling to go see the grandbabies and for Passover. And it is Passover. So and Jewish people, like those of us who are Protestant, want to gather with our loved ones during these holy seasons. So that's what we're doing. I kind of feel like I want an Easter dinner on Sunday. Like I'm gonna, Ife, you want to make some man, let's make some Easter dinner. If Ife want to make some, if we want to have some Easter dinner at her house. And then Yale undergraduate jazz collective kicks off their jazz festival soon. I think either kicks off Sunday or sometime this week. It kicks off Friday night. So I might make my way to see the Steve Sandberg trio. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do that on Friday night because I think that'll be lovely. And I like their jazz. You know, we stumbled across their jazz festival before the pandemic, and we were going 2 years in a row before the pandemic. Then the pandemic shut it all down. Then I think they did something virtual. I caught some of that. But now they're full on. Last year they were full on back. Now they're back again. So, and they've got a great lineup. And I always find interesting folks, and I love buying jazz CDs and that kind of thing. So, so if you don't know, the Yale Undergraduate Jazz Collective is such an amazing group of musicians, and you really should go and support them. You know, uh, world-class musicians, just world-class musicians, and they do it and they pull it off, and it's such a good time. And so I'm just saying, if you want to get into something that's really, really amazing, get into that. That's something. Oh, that is something. Uh, and listen, and the New Haven Docs documentary series, they're gonna do the first Friday of every month at Best Video Film and Cultural Center. So uh they're gonna screen their films. So they're starting Friday at 7, and it begins the series, and they're gonna screen Steve Ham's Oystering Life, followed by a lively conversation with Steve and Chef Nadine Nelson, the green queen of cuisine. And so, and this, I think this is appropriate because as we're talking about oysters, and she's she is Caribbean in her culture and heritage. And so I bet you that would be a good conversation of food and film and food talk. So, and it's just up the road. Y'all know where Best Video is, up the road on Whitney Avenue, right across the street from the church. So you've never been, and I've never been. I've been threatening to go. So I would suggest that you make your way. I think it'll be good. I'm going to be at the jazz thing, so I'm not going to make the conversation training because I had already just decided I want to go hear some live music in person. So, so that's what I'm about. That's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. So, so yeah, so check it out. Come check out all the things that's going on. Oh, and I think Restaurant Week is coming up, New Haven Restaurant Week, which is such a good time for, particularly in a city that is such a food town like New Haven. Restaurant week gives you opportunity to sort of check out restaurants that you normally wouldn't check out because the prices are so good and attractive that you're like, I've never been to you. I've never been to, and different restaurants sign up. Not every single restaurant does it, but there's so many restaurants that do. So if there's a place that you've been hankering to hit, check to see if they're signed up, and then get on the wire and go see it, go eat there, go eat there. I got to make my way to the Loop because I had the chef on months ago, and he has invited me to come, and my schedule has not permitted me to get over there. So, so Ife and I are gonna make our way over there at some point and have some dinner. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I do think I'm gonna go to church on Easter Sunday, and I do think I'm definitely gonna go to the jazz concert that evening. So there's a lot going on. There always is. And no, it's good. I'm not spending too much time on that crazy president. I'm just not going to do it. But what I will say is that high five to UConn and the young sister, the LSU. Is that the women's team that won? I'm just trying to get a sense of anyway, they're giving her fever, but I just think she's so bold, and I just love her style. What do they call it, Bayou Barbie? I just love her. I just love her, and it's just a lovely thing to see a young sister talk that kind of trash and be at the top of her game, and everybody just got their lips out about it. Listen, you know what I say? Give everybody cape and let them be super mad. Yes, she plays for LSU, and she's cousins to Jordan Hawkins, who plays for UConn. So I know, listen, the cookout going to be banging this summer at their house. I know it. I know the cookout is going to be everything. It's going to be so much fun. They're going to be just chatting it up. So high five to them, Jordan Hawkins and Angel Reese. So, they're from the DMV, but they rep their teams beautifully. And high five to them. High five. Woo! I just enjoy her. And she's so confident when she's talking, speaking about, who she is and what she's about and how she plays. And I'm just so in awe to be that, to just be that confident and solid in your game. So yeah. And it was, NPR has a piece up yesterday during the women's NCAA finals. The LSU Angel Reese waved her hand in front of her face while glaring at Iowa's Caitlin Clark. And so everybody got mad at her. She didn't start it. Caitlin started it, but that's fine. It's just trash talking on the court. And I don't know why people think that women's sports is all about, handkerchiefs and tea, right? Like, these girls are playing basketball and they trash talking the same way they trash talk, the men trash talk, and don't nobody say a damn thing. It's this double standard. There's so many double standards in this game. First of all, they on this sister because they feel like she was being unsportsmanlike, but that white girl started it and kicked it off. And then they were like, oh, she's edgy. So the young sister does it back. And they doing it back and forth, and they're not mad at each other or anything. They're just in the zone. And people are calling this young sister ghetto and, oh, who's her coach? And it was just, white people, go sit your narrow asses down and stop trying to create foolishness where none exist. I just had to say that because y'all are exhausting. You on this issue, but your lips are tight about firearm control. I don't see you being very vocal about the use of firearms in when anywhere. I, I you mute. I can't hear you. I can't hear the outrage. But you feign outrage over some foolishness that don't have nothing to do with you or your everyday practical life. That's the part that you know. But you're not out here stomping for a woman's right to choose. Not doing that. Oh, you mute. You mute. I don't hear you. I do not hear you. I don't hear you. So just go somewhere and sit down, people. Sit down. Seriously. Anyway, enough of that. They're champions. No one could take that away. Their respective towns and places where they come from and schools will celebrate them. And ticker tape parades will happen and all the things. Now, on to Bridgerton. I'm so excited to see the upcoming prequel book, Queen Charlotte. I just think Shonda Rhimes is just genius. This is just going to be so good. People are already excited. I'm already excited. I'm looking forward to the backstory of Queen Charlotte. And Queen Charlotte was a real person. So I'm looking forward to what they do and how they do it. And it's just going to be very, very interesting and good. And binge. I know it's going to be binge worthy. Like, how could it not be? You're gonna be like, I can't get enough. I can't get enough. I wish I could say I will try to pace myself. Like I wish I could say I won't sit there and watch like 8 gazillion episodes. I don't know. I might have to just put the treadmill in my room and walk the treadmill while I binge or ride my bike. Put my bike in front of the TV and ride while I'm, you know what I mean? Like that might be how I have to approach this. Because otherwise, I just don't know. I just don't know what you do to me. I'm not the same. I don't know. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my trip. I got my trip insurance yesterday through Karen Bellamy. I'm gonna call her today. It's like, listen, let me talk to you about some life insurance because I need to look at my life insurance policies and I it's time to re-engage in that because I do not wish to be a burden to my children and I think it's time to set that house in order and I know better because my mother set the house in order for me, my siblings, so I'm going to do the same. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to get on that. I'm going to send her a message. What can I get? I got this kind of money. What can I get? I need something. I need a little something. Take care of my my end of days, my end day. And do you know they have whole little kits that you can buy to plan for your exit. I was not aware. I just stumbled into it. So I was like, I might get me one. I mean, it might be just something simple. I mean, it's, a envelope and a bigger envelope to just put all the information that is relevant and pertinent to your life. So on that last day, people is not going through all this foolishness that I got going on, trying to figure out where's the this and where's the that and where are the codes and what's the bank account and all that kind of stuff. So I wanna already be able to put that stuff together so that I'm ready. You know what I mean? I wanna be ready. And I don't wanna GoFundMe for my funeral. I don't. So I need to if people do a GoFundMe, it'll be to fund my fund. That'll be it. That's what I want. Like if people want to start a GoFundMe, it won't be to sort of um pay for my service. I want to GoFundMe to if y'all want to raise money for my fund, the Freed Woman Fund. That's what I want. I want that. And then the other part is I want to I've decided that I want to be buried at the Grove Street Cemetery. That's where I want to go. Um and I'm gonna buy my plot so that that's where I end up. That's where I want to I was on the fence about where I wanted to be interned. If I wanted to be cremated, if I wanted to be turned into jewels, if I wanted my ashes, scattered to the four winds. I don't I've been thinking about this for quite some time. It's like, well, where and then I thought, well, I don't know if I want my ashes to be all over the place. Then I thought, well, I'll get cremated and then I'll intern my ashes. And I was like, well, no, that doesn't make me happy either. And so I was like, well, so I'm back to a casket and in the cemetery. So I figure if I could get like, a glittery casket, stuff that a blinged out casket with a beautifully sort of pink and red interior, because I love pink, but I'm a Delta, so one little red in there, or maybe you put a little red pillow. That's what I mean. Like I want, and I'm thinking about this in a real way. And now that I'm talking about it, somebody could go back and get a point of reference, be like, this is what Babz said she wanted, but I get a sense of I'm expressed to my children. This is what I want. And I want all the hoopla. I want all the pop and circumstance. I want a second line. I want live musicians. I want the altar filled with all my pictures. I want a closed casket. I don't see the need of having an open casket, although I would look fly, but I think a closed casket, and then pictures of me across the sanctuary. And God knows there's enough amazing pictures of me that no one would have to dig to find a wretched, and because this is what I cannot stand. People who don't like to take pictures. When your end comes and you don't have any good pictures, you're going to really hate what your family has to choose from. I'm just putting it out there, because oftentimes I see so many terribly put out pictures because people they didn't think about this. They're like, oh, it's not. And then your family has to sift through all these god awful photos to find one that is suitable. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all seen them programs where there have been pictures of people half-ass in a picture, sitting at a cook. Oh my God, just terrible pictures. I have enough good ass pictures floating on these internets that it will not be a hard lift to find pictures. If the hard lift is she has too many good pictures and we can't possibly choose. And then you put it on a digital screen, then you just rotate a gazillion pictures on a digital screen. That's what you do. I've got pictures that you could put on the altar, and then you could upload the other ones for a digital present. That's what I want. I want lots of music. I want jazz. I want a little bit of gospel, not too much. I want a really done well program, I want all the bells and whistles. And then I want to be interned at Grove Street Cemetery. That's where I want to be. That's it. I don't care where my other people's are. Let them be where they at. I know where I want to be. I want to be right in the heart of a city that I love so much. I want to be right in the heart of a city that I love so much. And so I gotta start planning and saving for that and thinking about that. Because it's not cheap, but it's not terribly expensive either. Like, I mean, not. So, I don't know if I don't know if that could be taken care of, like, when my demise and paid for with my insurance money, or do I just go and pick something and start paying on it and then what it is? 'Cause that's what I wanna do. I just don't know what you do to me. I'm not the same. I know. I should not be singing, like, singing songs, but I'm in the singing kinda mood. And it is poetry month. And I was thinking, I know I have some poetry by some Jewish poets. I know I have some. I'm gonna look that up, see what I come up with because, yes. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You can yeah, I might look into that, Ife. I don't know who I want to do my services like that, but, but I do like the idea of, being at Grove Street Cemetery. Um, I just wanna be there. I think that's a place I wanna be amongst interesting and historical people, and they have a lot of Black people over there. I wanna be one of them. So that's what I wanna do. I wanna get right. So that's on my goal of 60, as I'm chasing 60. So I'm gonna send Karen a message and say, listen, I need some life insurance, and this is what I want to do. Because for a long time when I was married, we held policies, hefty policies. And then, when you get divorced, you just sort of change that, right? Um, change that. So I'm going to look into reinstating myself around that. Look for something. Oh, so yeah, and I'm not being morbid. I'm just trying to be you know, I don't mind talking about these things. I guess because I grew up with a mother who talked about these, and so it was never I never, and we used to just joke her and be like, oh God, we talk about this again. But let me tell you something. When she passed, we didn't have no problems. It was smooth sailing. We didn't have to ask nobody for nothing. We didn't have to do it, go for nothing. My mother had her affairs so in order, and she was very clear about what she wanted her service to be, and we just executed it. That was it. That was it. You know, uh, that was it, and it was great, great. And people still, every now and again, I still run into somebody who's like, "Your mother's service is one of the best service I've ever been to," or "How do I get a service like that?" I was like, "Well, you gotta talk to your kids. Your kids gotta be on board." Because my mother was adamant she didn't want to be anybody's church, and she didn't want any preacher saying anything about her because she's like, I don't know them like that. Okay, mom. And we followed along. And some family members were a little miffy about it, but I was like, listen, I may not been a damn good daughter in life, but I'm gonna be a good daughter for her in her death. And y'all gonna y'all gonna y'all gonna get over it. Y'all gonna get over it, over it, over it. And they did. And now they're dead too. So there's that. Everybody's time is coming. I want to be prepared. And I damn sure don't want to leave them. I don't want to leave my kids with a mess. I just don't. I don't want to leave the mess. So whatever I could take care of, whatever I could take care of, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Uh, that's it. So yeah, so I've been thinking about this, and that's where I'm at. I was like, I guess I'm gonna be interned. I'm gonna be in a casket. Find me a nice casket, probably one that's sparkly as hell. That's what I want. It. Something sparkly. And huh? So I'm looking for some poets, specifically Jewish poets, only because it is Passover And because it's Passover, I think it would be lovely to have some poetry. And it doesn't have to necessarily be um, um, Passover poems, but just Passover poems by Jewish folks. So we'll get into it while we have time. So I got a few minutes. So let me see what I could dig up. And and there's some good contemporary Jewish poets too. Trying to figure it out, which is really nice. Oh, there's a lot. Uh, uh, okay, a lot to be said about this. Okay, so now I've got a bunch to pick from, and I'm gonna take a look. I will, of course. Uh, Everybody's got these pop-ups that really annoy me to no end. That annoy me to no end. So I found a poet that I think Celia Dropkin. Um and let me see if this is the poem. I think it's a love letter by Celia Dropkin. Let me see this because I think no, that's not what I want. It is kind of what I want. Let's see. Make sure I'm reading this right. Because, set up well, it's a is this Yiddish? Yiddish poems. Yeah, I don't like that poem. So let me see what else. Let me see. Ah, that's the thing about poems. You could just like scroll through and you could like spend some time thinking, oh, I want this, I want that, I want what I mean. This is what I'm thinking about. And nice, 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 nice. But it is April is National Poetry Month. So I'm inviting people uh just get into some poems. Even if you think you don't like poetry, there I put money on the fact that there's a poem for uh uh everybody. There's a poem for everybody. There really is a poem for everybody. And I'm convinced of that. And it just takes people to just dig through and just start getting a vibe and a feel for what they like. And when you hear a poem, there are very few poems I've ever heard in my life that did not move me to that moved me so greatly. I, just about every poem I've ever heard has moved me. Even if I didn't like it, I was still moved by it. You know what I mean? Like I was still moved by it. And it's always it's just always good habit to spend some time contemplating and discerning a poem and see where it fits in your everyday practical life. I know that seems very highbrow intellectual, but it's really very basic. You find a poem, even if it's a children's poem, you know, uh, even if you even if you like a children's poem, yeah, I mean it's a poem. So here's one by trying to this is a Jewish Book Council and Voices Within the Ark, the Modern Jewish Poets. And this was from 2016. I dare say there's been more Jewish poets since 2016. um, so, but they've got a collection of poems. Let me see. I didn't know there was a Jewish Poetry Month. Well, National Poetry Month is April, so they put out some books, uh, and quite a bit of Jewish poets, which is really really nice. Uh, and some that have won some awards. So that'd be kind of cool. Uh, the selected poetry of Yehuda uh, um, Amikai. I think that's how you say that. So while I ponder and look and try to figure out what to read. Oh, okay. I got to keep an eye on the clock because I get caught up. I get caught up. I'm going down a like Harry and I like to say, going down a rabbit hole. I'll go down a rabbit hole in a minute. And before you know it, I'm like, oh, what is happening? What is happening? On Earth, this is from the Book of Poetry, Breathing in the Dark from 2011. It's Howard Schwartz's Yehuda Amici Amakai in the Heavenly Jerusalem from his book of poetry, Breathing in the Dark from and this is I guess this is the final poem. So um, on earth in his beloved Jerusalem, he could often be found in that tiny cafe on King George sipping black coffee. Everyone knew who he was, but they all left him alone. Later, he would shop in the shuk like everyone else, take a seat in the back of the bus, put down his bags of fruits, vegetables, and dream a little till the bus reached his stop. Everyone else was asleep. When he rose at 4 in the morning to jot down the poems hidden in the corners of his city, this was his life. On his 70th birthday, he whispered, I'm tired of giving birth. And it seemed to be true. His face was tired, even his eyes. And yet something continued to burn. I've learned the secret of fertilizing myself, he told me. I supply both egg and seed, but I'm tired of giving birth. At 76, he took leave of this world quietly. And as one would expect of such a modest man, presidents and prime ministers spoke at his funeral. Thousands gathered to pay their respects. When he reached heaven, he was greeted by his heroes, King David and Shmuel Ha-Nagid, along with hundreds of his poems, their flying letters swirling around him. The angels, delighted to welcome him, offered him a pair of wings, but he declined, saying, It's enough if my words have wings. Tell me, where are the cafes? Ah, I love that. I love it. And then uh other souls wander the streets of paradise like tourists, staring at the heavenly temple or taking a seat at the back of Rashi's class. Not Yehuda. He's still longing for the ruins of the earthly temple, for the ancient stones of his earthly city, for all the sheets hung out to dry, flapping like sails in the wind. And that, my friend, is taken from this is Yehuda Amici. And this is a piece of work by Howard Schwartz in the Heavenly Jerusalem. Yehuda Amici in the Heavenly Jerusalem from his book of poetry, Breathing in the Dark in 2011. So beautiful, beautiful poem. Beautiful poem. So thank you, Howard Schwartz, uh, um, for that poem. So I just felt like that perfect for Passover today. Perfect. It's got a lot to unpack there. And I think it would be such fitting. Uh, such fitting. So, so anyway, when we come back from break, I might jump into a little bit more of some Jewish poets since it is Passover and Easter, right? Because those early Christians were Jewish. They weren't Christians. They were Jewish people. They were Jewish people who uh who were tending to the Christ. Christ was Jewish. So so it's only fitting that we combine these cultures a little bit and see where one begins and where one begins and where one begins and where one begins and see the threads of connection, the familiar threads of connection and the gospel threads of connection and the story threads of connection. That's what makes this such a holy time, you know, that that we forget. And we're so busy separating out things. And I get it. Everybody wants to claim whatever they claim, but it is lovely to sort of, hold all of this sacred and say this fits here and this all belongs. And this is the bigger story. And this is where this piece fits in the bigger story. And this is, like that's how we begin to build bridges back to ourselves with each other. If we could see the bigger picture of where all this fits and where everything fits, that the story is not just, parsed out for Jewish people and Christians and Catholics, Protestant and Catholics, that the story is so big and that it fits us all. Like we all can have a piece of the story. We could all take solace in the story. The story is what moves us. The story is what restores our faith. It's the story. So anyway, I'll be back. I'm gonna take a break and I'll be back on the other side. Y'all keep it groovy.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Living in strange times, I'll